Good evening, everyone. How are you? Today is the last week of the year, last week of 2021. Hard to believe. Today, we are going to be talking about some fun DIY projects. I'm not going to actually do the DIY projects on the call. I know some of you may be thinking, oh, I can't wait to see Elena be mixing up lotions and potions. Well, not today, but I'm going to give you some great recipes that you're going to be able to use yourselves. And I think some of them will be fun to do in groups. So if you're going to be meeting with family or friends and want to do a fun project, sometimes it's just fun to do something together. So you're just not, I don't know, talking politics the whole time, right? We want to maintain family and friend harmony. And a fun way to do that is to work on a project. So I'm going to give you some tips, and I'm going to even give you a shopping list at the end in case you want to do them all, which I guess is possible, right? You have a little bit of time off now. Some of you I know have young children. You may have children that are home from school for a little while, and these are fun things to do, I think, with just about any age group. So stay tuned. So we've got some really wonderful projects today. We want to make sure that we are taking a look really at all of them. What I like about them is that they are easy to do and they are also fun. I think you're going to really like all of them, and you're going to feel like this is something that I want to do with my family and friends. So actually, I'm sorry. I want to go back a little bit. Whoops, here we go. I don't know why I'm on that slide. Here we go. Can you see my screen? I think you can. Here we go. That's a little bit better. I think you can see my screen. So today's DIY holiday fun. I think we've got a lot of things that we're going to talk about and a lot of cool things to show you. So 'twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. So if you're celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas to everyone who's about to celebrate in the next day or so. It just seems a minute, and all of a sudden it's Christmas again. I'm ready to go. I have to say, my house is decorated. You can see I'm wearing my Christmas blouse for everybody who's here. I'm not quite done with gifts. I've got to run out today right after we chat. But let me know in the chat, are you done with your holiday shopping? Are you celebrating? Is your house decorated? What do you still have left to do? I know today is the 20th, so you probably have some last minute things. Are you cooking? I want to hear everything in the chat. Are you ready or you're not ready? Let me go. Let me know. The other thing I just wanted to mention was, how many of you are ready with your essential oils? Now, there's a couple of things I want to talk about when I talk about 'twas the night before Christmas. Number one is creating that scent in the house that makes you feel like Christmas. So there's a couple of things that we can use. We can use, of course, our Siberian fir, our Douglas fir, all of our tree oils, our cedar wood, all of those make for lovely wintry smells. And if you're in a country that maybe, or a climate that doesn't really feel like winter right now, some of those can be diffused into the air. You can make fresh air sprays and really help your house to smell like that deep wintry smell, that cold smell that we associate with, I don't know, the deep forests in Canada or maybe the northern United States. So that's number one. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that everybody stays healthy, right? So we're going to be having parties. We're going to be getting together with friends, maybe not as big as in the past. Maybe they're going to be small gatherings, but we still want to make sure that everyone is staying healthy. And even if you're just going to be at home with your immediate family, you certainly want to protect them and make sure that they all stay really healthy. So then we want to use things like our On Guard, our citrus oils, right? And we want to make sure everybody's breathing properly. So we're going to use our Breathe. All of those oils are going to be terrific for us to keep our family healthy. But today we're talking about how to do these things, how to make some projects ourselves. The ideas in this presentation are primarily from the book Essential Oils for Healthcare from Today, but there's a lot of additional content taken directly from the blog of the dōTERRA website. So if you're interested in more holiday content, they've got a lot of content there too. So today is our DIY holiday fun. These are some project ideas. So if you've got your notebook out, take it out, take a look. We've got some terrific, interesting ideas. And if you're a little crafty or you're a lot crafty, because I know some people love to do projects and they're really good with what I'm going to call the manual arts. They maybe sew, or they knit, or they crochet, or they embroider, or maybe all of the above. People like that will find these projects, I think, super easy. If you're a person who's really kind of all thumbs and just really thinking, I don't know how to do any of these, there are projects in here for you, and I'm sure you're going to be really happy with them. Okay, so I always want to welcome anybody, certainly anybody who's new to dōTERRA or new to this class. If you hadn't had a chance to hop on before, I'm Elena Yordan. I'm here every week talking about different essential oil topics and also helping you to make sense of the essential oils that you already have. If you've used products from other companies, I'm going to recommend dōTERRA. And if you've used dōTERRA in the past, I'm going to help you get the biggest bang for your buck, because honestly, dōTERRA is one of those companies where pennies per drop really do make the biggest difference. So talk to me a little bit about what's your goal. I know you're here to find out about some DIY fun. We've got some interesting projects up ahead. Are you going to do some projects? Everybody in the chat is kind of quiet today. Want to hear what you're going to be doing. Have you done some projects already, or are you thinking of doing some now? I'm going to cover 5 topics of DIY: scrubs, lotions, lip balms, soap and bath gifts, and then a few party items. So all of those should be really interesting to anybody who's hopping on. And like I said before, if you're not a DIY person, don't worry, there's something in here for you. Betty says she's going to do some small cooking for tomorrow, which is the winter solstice, and then Christmas shopping presents are done. Okay, Christmas will order food. Have some done already. Z says she has some done already and giving out. And Wang's Lee says did some DIY with essential oils as gifts already. You may have a last minute gift that you want to put together. I'm hoping that this is going to be just the ticket for you. Eileen says she's looking to learn how to do an easy DIY, especially one I can do with my kids. Yes, great idea. My kids are big, but I think sometimes it's great to do a DIY, even with bigger kids or adults. And Lisa says she's going to give some essential oils mixed to friends as Christmas gifts. And Grace says a DIY perfume and gave it to her friends. Wow, Grace, you're a great friend. So we've got the blog. I'm going to actually link the blog here. If you don't know, I'm going to be sticking it into the chat. So in case you don't know the dōTERRA blog, you can check it out right there and you can see it in the chat. We know already why we choose dōTERRA. Not all oils are created equally. We've got our co-impact sourcing. We've got our executive team that's dedicated to purity and quality. And then we've also got our commitment to our certified pure tested grade, right? Our CPTG, which guarantees pure, unadulterated oils, free of fillers, synthetics, dyes, pesticides, contaminants of any kind. That's what's important to me, and I'm sure it's important to you too. We've got our 3 methods of use, just in case you didn't know. We've got our aromatic, our topical, and our internal. And today, when we talk about our products, we're going to be using or creating products that allow us to use our essential oils those 3 ways. So first one on the hit parade is our candy cane scrub, our first scrub, which is a famous one. I don't know if you've tried this before. Perfect gift to create a fun and festive Christmas. I like the fact that it smells like a really minty, I don't know, sugar cane. So you could use these essential oils to flavor or scent something else. You've got some white sugar, some fractionated coconut oil, peppermint essential oil, and some skin-safe food coloring. You're going to put all of that. And instead of sugar, you could use sea salt if you prefer, and put that in a fractionated coconut oil. Maybe you're thinking that your kids are going to try to eat this if there's sugar in it. I don't know. Needless to say, you could use salt if you want. And sometimes salt can be a coarser grind. So that may actually provide more of a scrub. You don't want something that's too coarse though, right? Because we want to be gentle on our skin. It's super easy. Just combine everything in one bowl and mix it all up. And I provided already the recipe. Recipes are popping up in the chat. If you haven't seen them already, you can copy them if you want. Another one I wanted to just mention is a coconut salt scrub. This one also super easy. We've got our coconut virgin. This time we're using virgin coconut oil, which you know is going to stay solid at room temperature. We wanted to add something because we know that not only is fractionated coconut oil liquid at room temperature, traditional virgin coconut oil that we can buy at our grocery stores or our health food stores stays solid and is going to have a slightly different consistency. You can see that this one looks very white. You can add your essential oils in there and just kind of mix it up. You're going to have to melt the coconut oil in maybe in a double boiler or in a microwave, whichever you prefer. Once it's melted, then you're going to add your other ingredients, including your essential oils, and then you're going to let it sit. But while it's sitting, you're going to stir it up so that all the things don't sink to the bottom, right? You want to make sure that you're getting that process just right. You can put it in the refrigerator so that it cools a little bit faster. The other thing is that's going to help you from keeping stirring because you realize this is going to take a while for it to set. And what if you were going to make this recipe, what essential oil, what would be your favorite essential oils that you would use? If it was mine, I think I would use a blend of maybe ylang-ylang and bergamot, ylang-ylang and bergamot. But what's your favorite blend? Let me know. 15 drops of your favorite essential oil, and the chat is open, so please let me know. I'd love to hear. Here's another one, another scrub, a ginger lime scrub, this time with brown sugar. So the concept basically is to get something that's gritty, right? To mix it with something that's smoothing, like your coconut oil, and then finally to add in your essential oils. Eliana says she would use Balance and Wild Orange, and that's a new favorite of hers. This is ginger lime, so you'd be adding 10 drops of lime and 5 drops of ginger. Now, what I love about some of these recipes is that they're giving you the recipe for making a scrub perhaps, but what we also see is that we've got that proportions, 10 and 5, 10 lime and 5 ginger. We could be using that as a diffuser recipe. So if you're not sure, do I really want to make this scrub? Do I want to make any products? Doesn't matter. Take a look at some of the recipes just for the proportions of what we see in the recipes so you can get a little bit of an idea of what kinds of diffuser recipes you could be putting together. I love the idea of ginger and lime together. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it's a good combination. Here's one more. Here's a festive fall one. Now this one has that clovey, gingery smell, right? You're going to be using cassia, clove, and ginger. Again, a white sugar scrub. This is another super easy one. And I've got a couple more that I'm going to add, not all scrubs, but I want to give you all the scrubs first, right? So let's go on. And now let's talk about some lotions. Now, sometimes when we make a lotion, we have to add some additional ingredients. You've heard, I think, my crazy story with my dear friend, Carrie Donegan. When we first started using essential oils, we thought we would make some sort of a lotion or a cream, and we would give it out to our friends and we would be so generous, but we didn't read any directions because we thought it was going to be so easy. We didn't read a recipe. We just figured we would figure it out. So we bought some beeswax. We bought some cocoa butter. We bought some shea butter. We've bought our virgin coconut oil, our fractionated coconut oil, and our essential oils that we were going to make this into something really special. What we didn't realize is that when we purchased beeswax, cocoa butter, shea butter, and even virgin coconut oil, they are solid at room temperature. So what does that mean? You really have to make sure that at the end, first of all, you have to melt them so that they become liquid. And then what you have to do is you have to throw them in something that's going to fluff them up and add a little bit of air. That thing can be a blender, it can be a mixer, but you really do have to add the air in there. And that was my biggest mistake. And so what wound up happening is we threw everything together. We did do the melting part, and then we basically kept adding and adding and adding essential oils because we didn't know what else to do. And every time we checked it, when it became solid, it was like a rock all over again. We didn't know the whipping phase at all. So what wound up happening? I think we threw everything in the trash. It's kind of bad, I know. But we basically needed that one more step. So it would have been nice if we looked at a recipe. If you've been using essential oils before and you've had a little bit of a disaster, you try to mix something up and it came out like not smelling so great, or it was a project that you had to fail on, let me know in the chat because I'd really like to hear how many of you have put too many essential oils in a diffuser. How many of you have had a mix up maybe with giving someone one thing and think it was something else? Let me know in the chat because all of these are part of our journey and it's all for learning. For those of you who have been here for a while, you know that we always try to make it work, but sometimes, I don't know, we just flunk, and that's okay too, right? You want to make sure that you're whipping this mixture until it's light and fluffy. So think of it as whipping whipped cream or something else that you would whip in a high-speed electric mixer. So I think it really can be a wonderful thing. You're going to have to clean your mixer, of course, thoroughly afterwards, but it's worth the time and the effort, and you'll wind up with something wonderful that you can place in a container and then share with your friends. Okay, here's an interesting one, moisturizing lotion bars. Now, I remember one of the times that I went to Singapore, there were some wonderful ladies who were in the office and they were making lotion bars. And at the time I thought, what's a lotion bar? I've never even heard of that before. Eileen says she's mixed up some not so pleasant diffuser blends and even her DIY foaming hand soap. I ended up adding oil so that it would smell better. Yeah, I think we've all done it. Maybe some of you aren't admitting it, but we've had issues where, wow, that diffuser is really smelling a little crazy by now. And it's just that we've added and added and added. I have one of those old-fashioned diffusers. I remember they used to sell them in dōTERRA a long time ago, called an Aroma Ace, where you actually attach the bottle of oil right on the front of the diffuser. And I've been known from time to time to keep switching the bottles and taking the little bit that's in the last bottle and pouring it into the next bottle. In theory, that sounds like it wouldn't be such a bad idea, but those little dregs that are left at the bottom of the bottle over time can become overpowering and some kind of crazy mix. And I'll be in my office, I'll be smelling this and thinking, ooh, what did I make there? That's not smelling too good. And I'll literally have to just disconnect the bottle, dump the contents and start fresh. Last night, actually, I made something that was called creme de menthe, and it was 1 part peppermint to 1 part spearmint and 1 part vanilla. And it was amazing. And I wound up making a whole bottle of it. So I used 5 milliliters peppermint, 5 milliliters spearmint, and 5 milliliters of vanilla. And I've been diffusing it nonstop. And let me tell you, my office smells amazing. So what exactly is a lotion bar? You're going to take your beeswax, your coconut oil, your cocoa butter, your vitamin E oil, and your essential oils. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to mix them in a saucepan with about you're going to put them in a glass jar, and you're going to allow this mixture to melt. Once it's melted, you're going to move it from the heat, and then you're going to pour it into a mold. What's interesting, if you add a little bit of roughness, you can add some oatmeal into the bottom of the mold. It will actually provide you with a little bit of exfoliation. You can let the bar harden for 2 to 3 hours and then wrap it in some sort of a stored in a container, wrap it in a plastic wrap so that it doesn't get mushed up or anything. And then you can give one of these as a gift. I love the idea of lotion bars. They're also a little bit easier to make, I think, in certain respects than some of the lotions that we talked about before. Why? Because you don't have to mix them up. Betty says that she's put too much oil in the diffuser and having to pour out the glass container. That night was having restless night as the smell was too strong, and end up taking the diffuser to the living room and swiping it out. Yeah, I've been there too, that my husband will say, what did you put in the diffuser tonight? And it's really just overpowering. The other thing, as I think I've mentioned to you, is I live in a 2-story house, actually a 3-story house. and my office is on the lower level. If I have my diffuser on, the one that connects the bottle right on the front, for many, many hours, eventually my family up on the second floor will begin to say, "You've diffused enough oil," because it's literally wafting through the entire house. When I've gotten to that point, yes, it's absolutely time to turn off the diffuser. But in the meantime, I'm having a lot of fun in my office. Okay, let's talk about warm body butter. Again, we're mixing some of those moisturizing oils, and you'll have to be putting these together and then mixing them again. Cassia, cypress, and juniper berry. This is, if you're a fan of like apple pie, then this is a wonderful product for you. You're going to love this. It kind of transforms the skin, but also gives you that warm, wonderful feeling. I'm going to actually post the recipe in the, whoops, here we go. And this is one of those recipes that you're going to have to use a mixer and get it all whipped up. Okay, other types of recipes. We've got some lip balms, again, using our essential oils. So you can see that, and this is something that I guess the point of doing a presentation like this is to show you there's a lot of different things that you can do with your essential oils, not just put them in the diffuser, not just take them internally, not just put them use them aromatically. They really can be used in many different products. If you're a person who wants to incorporate natural scents into the products that you already use, essential oils are the way to go. Let's talk a little bit about lip gloss. Gentlemen, I know this may not be the one that you're really interested in, but that idea of adding things together and then maybe a natural pigment. A long time ago, I want to say about 3 years at least before COVID, one of our team members made a beautiful lipstick for me, and I've kept it all these years. I kind of guard it very jealously. It's in a lovely filigreed case that looks very Chinese to me. It almost looks like it has either a Chinese dragon or Chinese characters on it. Beautiful, black and red. And I use it all the time. And I guard it because I don't know if I'll ever get another one, but I love the idea that it's not only a homemade product, it's made with essential oils. And then also that the person who made it for me took the time to put it into that beautiful case. There is really there's an art, I would say, to providing someone with a homemade product. When I was younger, I used to make homemade products for all of my aunties and my family members. And I was an only child growing up. So that was a fun way for me to invite friends over, and we would make these different projects. So if you are also a person who maybe has an only child, encourage them to maybe be creative and to create some of these products. Here's a quick lip balm, Orange Creamsicle. This is one of the most, I can't even tell you how popular this particular Creamsicle lip balm is. This is what people say when they basically are, wow, this is amazing. I don't know if I love Creamsicle, but many people do. The idea of this product actually is that sort of like that. Do you remember the ice pops that people have with the vanilla ice cream on the inside and the orange sherbet on the outside? That's the concept. This particular recipe calls for wild orange oil and vanilla extract, but you could substitute your brand new vanilla essential oil for the extract. Make sure that you're getting enough so that you can smell it. We know that vanilla extract is blended with alcohol, which makes it actually more pungent and stretches it further. So the essential oil that we're going to use is going to be a little bit more mild. So if you're using it in a product, now when we place essential oils on our skin and we put them in a diffuser, we can smell them really well. But if we're looking for them for flavoring, especially over a larger quantity of product, we're going to have to make sure that we're using the right quantity. I would not use a teaspoon of vanilla essential oil to replace a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Don't go that far. But what you can do is start drop by drop to make sure that you're getting the right proportions. And as you can see, I'm adding all of the recipes into the chat if you haven't had a chance to look at those yet. Here's another soap recipe. Now, if you haven't made soap in the past, it can be a lot of fun. It requires a little bit of patience because, as you know, soap, you have to melt down your soap base, whatever that is, and that can take a little while. Kids sometimes get a little antsy, especially littler kids. But what I've found is if I can melt down the soap base first and then put the drops and then put the soap into the molds. There's a lot of very interesting soaps that I've seen over the years. Some of them add a bit of the flower or the essence right into the soap. So in the rosemary, you could put a sprig of rosemary, you could put a spearmint leaf, anything that's going to maintain its texture or give it a little bit of interest to the soap. In general, we don't want to use any artificial dyes. You could use a natural flavoring if you have access to natural flavorings from your local supermarket. You could use, or natural colorings from your local supermarket. You could be using those. So in a rosemary spearmint soap, if you wanted to give it a little bit of a green tint, you could find an edible dye and then put it maybe a tiny drop so that you were getting a little bit of that coloring as well as the scent from the essential oils. Okay, here's a huge one. DIY hand sanitizer. I know many of you have made hand sanitizers during the course of during this time that we've been on lockdown. If you have been like me, you're using your hand sanitizer on repeat. Now, many times I just use the On Guard spray that's available directly from dōTERRA, but I have been using one that I made myself. Why? Because I like the smell and I like to kind of mix it up. So the one that I'm using has lemon, eucalyptus, and spearmint in it. I know that sounds like a kind of a funny combo, but it really does smell wonderful. I was in a department store, and that was one of the mixtures that they had. And I thought, I think I can make that at home. And I did really very effectively. So in a spray bottle, you're going to use, in a glass spray bottle, you want to use your water, your aloe vera gel, and your On Guard essential oil, or 20 drops of another essential oil that you like for making a hand sanitizer. Make sure that you're using essential oils that in general are sanitizing. So you want to use things like lemon or maybe some clove, some of the things that are in your On Guard essential oil blend are going to be wonderful for sanitizing the hands as well. Here's another one. I don't know if I have this available. Yep, hand cleansing gel. You can use this on as a pump on a countertop. If you have people perhaps that don't have access to water. I know sometimes in offices, the restrooms may be far away from the offices. This may be something that you want to keep on your desk. Or perhaps if you're going to be going into a shop or going into a place and you're not going to have access to the restrooms easily, this might be something that you could create with aloe vera gel, vitamin E oil, and then some drops of On Guard. And this is also a super easy one to be made at home. Now, how many of you have made hand sanitizers yourself? And what are the scents that you've been using? I'll give you a minute and let me know in the chat if you've used or made any hand sanitizing gels in the past. And I'm actually drinking coffee today, as you can see, and I've got my Christmas mug, and I'm just kind of finally drinking hot coffee. I know a lot of you watch me in horror, I'm sure, as you're see me drinking iced coffee, even into late November. I want to say it's about -5 centigrade here today. So not super cold for us, but for some of you that are watching, it is a little bit, it's a little low. Whenever it's below 0 centigrade, I know it gets a little bit chilly. We've got, let's talk a little bit about an Epsom salt bath. So here's one of the things that I love about Epsom salts, and I mentioned this on in my last video. At the end of the day, or perhaps when you've had a difficult or stressful day, or you've been exercising a lot and your muscles are really tired, maybe you've even been putting up a Christmas tree and you've had your arms in the air for quite a while, and you get into bed or it's the end of the day and you feel kind of achy in your shoulders, you've done something that you don't usually do. Epsom salts really do make a difference, and Epsom salts blended with essential oils, in my opinion, are like magic. I very frequently use bergamot with my essential oils, with my Epsom salts. I keep things like Balance in my bathroom at home, and a couple of others that I really love. and I'll be blending those with my essential oils and just really get in the tub and soak. I have a nice deep soaker tub, and I really love to sit in there and just get rid of the stress of the day. Quinn B says to tell us that she's used On Guard, Spearmint, and Tea Tree with water as a hand sanitizer. And Liza says sanitizer ingredients are made are tea tree, On Guard, witch hazel, and distilled water. That's a great one. These don't necessarily mention witch hazel, but that's another terrific ingredient to use if you're using a hand sanitizer. So we're talking about now relaxing, right? We talked about getting rid of some stress. We talked about maybe some gift giving. Now we've got something that we can relax ourselves. So first we've got our Epsom salts. Now we've got a bubble bath. Now, when we talk about bubble bath, we want to make sure that two things. Number one is we're using a gentle soap, right? We don't want to be sitting in a very toxic, thick soap, right? So Castile soap, especially ones that are unscented, when used in moderation, can be really good for the skin and also can be very cleansing. When you use Castile soap and a little bit of vegetable glycerin, then you get that smoothing effect that helps everything to mix together and also not be too drying to the skin. When you're adding your essential oils, you can add whatever the essential oils are of your choice, but this bubble bath is free of artificial chemicals and fragrances. The ones that we find over the counter can often be very irritating to the skin, especially when we're talking about young children. We want to make sure that we're not giving them or helping them to sit in something that's really toxic. I remember when I was a kid, they used to have a bubble bath that was called, I don't know if it still exists, called Mr. Bubble. If you remember Mr. Bubble, tell me in the chat. And you would put a tiny bit, I don't know what was in that bubble bath, but you would put a tiny bit in the running water and the bubbles would explode. I remember as a girl, my mother always saying, don't put too much, because if you put too much, it would be a disaster in your bathroom. I don't know what's in Mr. Bubble or what was in Mr. Bubble, but I don't believe that it was supernatural. So I don't know. Thankfully, I didn't take too many bubble baths, but we want to sit and soak in something that's healthy, right? Anything that we're going to use on our skin is going to be absorbed through the pores of our skin into our body. So that's why our natural products, shampoos, lotions, all of that stuff is so important. What I love about DIYs is that you can scent the products any way that you want. So this year, as you know, dōTERRA came out with some wonderful new home products, including the Abode line and the limited time offer of Hygge. And I think from time to time, we're going to be seeing additional scents. Right now, the scent of our lotion and our hand pump soap is Citrus Bloom, which is obviously a little bit of citrus and a little bit of flowers. I love that scent and I'm loving having it in all the different areas of my house. But if I didn't really love that, or I wanted to make something different, these DIY products and that we can create on our own are just the ticket. So you can change up those scents whenever you want to. Let's talk a little bit about holiday room spray. Now, I talked about one that I had made in the hand sanitizer with lemon, eucalyptus, and spearmint, but I have to say this frankincense, grapefruit, and Douglas fir is going to give you that real holiday smell. If you're not a fan of Douglas fir, add in Siberian fir or maybe up the drops to 50-50. 15 Douglas fir and 15 of Siberian fir, and you'll get that really lovely smell of the tree. This is a super easy one, folks. One of the things that I like about these easy ones is that you can make them up and give them as gifts almost instantly. As long as you have your oils in your house, everybody has water. The little sprayer bottles are pretty easy to find. You can find them online. You can find them in home stores and in craft stores, and you can pick a few up and then make some sprays if you're looking to do something kind of last minute. And I have to say, the sprays that I've seen in stores during the holiday season, number one is they're probably all filled with chemicals. Number two is they're super expensive. I was in a gift shop the other day shopping for someone, and they had a whole section of candles and sprays and so on. I try to avoid pre-made things if at all possible. And certainly with essential oils, it's not necessary for me to buy any of those pre-made things. But I turned over a couple of the sprays and candles just to see the prices. Wow, did I have sticker shock. So if you're a person who tries to be fiscally conscious, you're trying to save money and make sure that you are not overspending, really essential oils are the way to go. The bigger candles that I saw, some of them were as much as 50 to 100 US dollars. Yes, you heard me right. And some of the room sprays were in the $50 range. So really, really expensive, and maybe they smell amazing. And I know the packaging was just perfect and the presentation and so on, but that's a lot of money. And you can just do a DIY. And make it work for yourself. Okay, so what have I got for you now? I've got a Citrus Air Freshener. Karen says, this is awesome. Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much for saying that. And Liza says, what's the spray size? Okay, so I frequently use, I think 15 milliliter is a little small. I buy one of two sizes. I either do a 30 milliliter, a 50 milliliter, or 100 milliliter, and those can be found online. Now, if you're using something for cleaning, you may want to do something that's half a liter because you want to use it for cleaning, but 15 milliliter is going to be a little bit small. Here's a Citrus Air Freshener. You've got your glass sprayer bottle, of course, your distilled water, and just plain old wild orange oil. But you could be using any of the citrus oils that we have, our lime, our bergamot, the tangerine, anything that you've received in the past as a special gift, whether it was white grapefruit or clementine. If you've been saving those oils until now, don't keep saving them. Use them as an air freshener. I think you'll be happy that you did. They can add a beautiful scent in your home. How many of you have a live Christmas tree in your house? Let me know in the chat. And if you have an artificial, so you can type in live or artificial if you want to, and let me know. I have a live tree, but I don't know. The tree itself is beautiful, but it doesn't seem to have any scent. I don't know what happened. So I'm spraying it with essential oils. I don't know what to do. Betty says, great Chinese New Year. We'll use all the mandarin essential oil for air freshener. Yes, we're going to be talking about Chinese New Year a little bit later after we get through Christmas and New Year. So don't worry, we'll have tons of products and projects for Chinese New Year. I always love to do some good prosperity type of things. So that's super fun. If you have an artificial tree, test your essential oils first in a small area, maybe behind or underneath. Don't want to spray down the whole tree and then find out that the essential oils are causing something to discolor. You could also dilute, and that would be another way for you to do it. But if you've got a, Citrus Air Freshener. Okay, let me give you the whole recipe. Hold on. I'll give you the whole recipe. Thank you for telling me. Here we go. I didn't post that. I posted that directly to Fiona. Let me post that to everyone. Excuse me, just so everybody gets the recipe. But thank you, Fiona, for letting me know. There we go. Okay, so everyone should see that. Betty says the tree, she heard from her florist, have to break the leaves or give a rub, then there will be smell. I don't know. I've been doing a couple of different things. I've been putting water in the vessel in the bottom with a little bit of sugar so that it will absorb, and also the tree will stay fresh. They say to use warm water. I've been doing that too. And then I've been actually spritzing down the tree with a little bit of water just to make sure that it's staying moist, so the tree's not drying out. When I touch the tree, it seems to be moist, but it doesn't smell at all. So I'm going to break the leaves. Betty, I'm going to try that. I'm going to break the leaves a little more and see if that happens. I don't know. But as for anyone who has an artificial tree, and I'll keep you posted, of course, how my tree works. I will have my tree up. Who knows? That's a good question. Who knows how long Elena will have her tree up? If you know, tell me in the chat. I actually keep my tree up not a crazy amount of time. It's not like I keep it up until Easter or something. So don't guess Easter, everybody. But I do keep my tree up until a specific date. Let me know in the chat. Okay. And if you can guess it, maybe I'll have a special treat for you. Okay, this is my easiest recipe. These are for the people that are recipe challenged, that are DIY challenged, that don't like lip balms, that don't want anything. They don't want air fresheners. They don't want anything but cinnamon toothpicks. This is absolutely the easiest one. All you need are toothpicks, fractionated coconut oil, and some cinnamon bark essential oil. Gentlemen, I feel like this is the recipe for you. This is so easy and so awesome and really super creative. Everyone enjoys a flavored toothpick. They're great for freshening the breath, cleaning the teeth, and fighting off sweet tooth cravings. I'm going to give you the recipe really fast, but it is super, super easy. If you've never made these before, they're really a delight. All you're doing is you're putting the ingredients in maybe a small jar, adding in all the toothpicks. You need some sort of a tin or a jar to hold all the toothpicks, right? You can start with 10 drops of cinnamon bark if you want something mild, but if you want really the zip, go straight to the 15. And then once the toothpicks have absorbed the mixture, you're going to lay them on a plate and let them dry for 24 hours. You definitely don't want a wet, dripping toothpick. And then you're going to put them in a small jar, and then you can use them whenever you need them. I think this is an amazing recipe. I imagine you could do change it up. You could do a peppermint toothpick. You could do a slim and sassy toothpick. You could do an on guard toothpick, maybe wild orange. I think this is just, yeah, I think it's great. Okay, so I've got a couple people in the chat. Eliana says till New Year. Nope, I keep it up till after New Year. Z says till Valentine's Day. That's a good guess, Z, but nope, I don't. And then Angie got it right. She said until Epiphany. Yes, exactly. Epiphany in the Christian religions. We talk about the three kings who came to visit the Christ child. And historically, that's kind of the end of the Christmas season. So I always keep my tree up until January 6th, the Epiphany. So if you come to my house, I'll be taking some pictures. So we'll have it up for a while. So I really want my tree to stay fresh because I've got another 12 days, I think, at least. Yes, more or less, maybe even a little more, that I have to keep my tree fresh and not looking droopy and dried out, right? I don't want anybody come here and look at my tree and think, oh man, what a mess, right? So yes, Angie, and I'm going to write down your, where's that? Here we go, Angie, and we're going to send you a little special gift for that wonderful guest. Oops, let me write it down before I forget. Okay, who likes the toothpick recipe? I thought you all would be more excited about this one. I have to say, this is the easiest recipe on earth. I don't know, maybe you're not toothpick users, but they're kind of fun. Even if you put them out, you know what would be really fun? I'm just thinking about this now. Maybe you flavor the toothpicks and then you serve them with some sort of a cocktail or something. Like if you had to serve, I don't know. Gotta think this one through. If you had olives, you wouldn't want to have cinnamon toothpicks. That would be really bad. But if you had another flavored thing, like maybe even little pieces of cake, you had a cinnamon toothpick and you put them together. I don't know. What do you think? You don't have to necessarily use them for your breath. Okay. This is a cute one. All right, moving on. This is a cute one for really little kids, salt dough. If you've never made salt dough, it is one of those really cute projects that you can do with your own kids. You could do with your nieces and nephews. Many of you know I have a ton of nieces and nephews. Most of them were born after I married my husband. I don't have any family on my side. It's all my husband's family. And we've done a ton of projects. We've done everything from salt dough to candle making. We've made soaps. Over the holiday season, we were making homemade cranberry sauce with the littles. And I even made homemade cranberry sauce with a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old with a lot of watching, but they did a lot of mixing, which was super fun. And some other projects that were really fun. We made a gingerbread house with them. That's actually kind of a funny story. It was one of these pre-made gingerbread houses. So all you had to do was decorate the house. And I was kind of very delicately trying to decorate the house. And the little kids were looking at me as if to say, okay, this is not working at all. And then one of my older nieces came over and she said, wait, watch this. And she took all of the icing, the sticky icing, and kind of put it flat on a piece of wax paper and said to the kids, okay, dip in the candy and stick it on the house. And let me tell you, the house came out adorable, super messy and just very funky, but that's the best way to do it. So kudos to my niece, who knew immediately this was not going to work. And we wound up with a really cute final project. So salt dough, why does it work? A couple of different reasons. One of the things about salt dough is it's mushy and it's very tactile. So for young kids, that's a wonderful thing for you to do. You can roll it out, so you can use a rolling pin. It has a lot of different sensory and tactile elements to it that make it a lot of fun. If you add essential oils into it, that's going to be another way for your kids to get that sensory, and they're going to actually absorb some of the essential oils through their fingertips. You can stamp an image on it. You can paint it. You can leave it plain if you want. Once you let it dry, it becomes an amazing homemade gift. I'm going to give you the complete recipe, but the concept basically is that you can make something that will harden, something that's soft that later on becomes hard, and then you can bake it in an oven, decorate it, and very similar to the ceramic ornaments that dōTERRA provides with us. The salt dough is porous, so in the future it can absorb essential oils. You want to make sure that you're making it thick enough that it's not going to either crack or crumble, but using a drinking straw or a toothpick, you can punch a hole in it and then you can hang them for future use, either on maybe in a closet or on a Christmas tree or somewhere else, but these are really kind of fun. You can paint them, you can add glitter if you want. So many different things that you can do with salt dough, but this is a really cool project. And as I look at this now, I think maybe the littles in my family will be ready to do this next year. I think a 2 and a 3-year-old are a little bit too small, but I think next year they'll be good. Okay, so a couple of people were chiming in on the toothpicks. Peggy says, the toothpick idea is so interesting. We can add flavor to our food and freshen the mouth too. Yeah, why not, right? Peppermint toothpick. Betty says peppermint toothpick for after the meal, good for the breath. And Z says, use the toothpicks idea on bread pudding. Yes, wouldn't that be great? Like if you made a cinnamon toothpick and then you cut the bread into cubes and then you could, that sounds so good. Delicious. Okay, your shopping list. Now, I mentioned a lot of products here. I'm going to post them all in the chat. But here's something now, just to make sure that you have every product, right, for your all the projects. Whoops, there we go. It's a very long list, but our 2 lucky winners today are going to receive, are you ready? All of the essential oils for all the products. So they're going to receive a fractionated coconut oil, a frankincense, a peppermint, a Douglas fir, a grapefruit, a melaleuca, a tea tree, lavender, ginger, and a lime. So 2 lucky winners are going to get all of those. Now, all of those oils are still in the United States. I sent a whole bunch of boxes to Asia, but everything is delayed. So it's on its way, but they haven't arrived yet. But our 2 lucky winners are going to receive all of the product, all of the oils from all of the products, all of the projects. You're going to have to add your other things as you go on, right? You're going to have to add your sugar or your flour or whatever, but that shouldn't be too hard. A lot of those things we have in our pantries already. So now what? You're probably really excited. You're never alone in your essential oils journey. You want to talk to the person that invited you to this call. Maybe you want to do a DIY with someone that you know or that you love. Maybe you're on this call with someone that you know or you love. Make an appointment, get together with them. This is the holiday season. It's the time for us to be celebrating and to really make as many connections as we possibly can. I'm thinking of some of you who have told me about your wonderful families, your nieces and nephews, and just how sweet they are. And I want to make sure that you have some way of connecting with them. Jean, I see everybody's going, woohoo, and their eyes are popping out. So we're going to have a really, really fun Christmas. I've been sending all kinds of things to Singapore and to Asia, and we're just counting on the shipping companies to cooperate with us. I don't know if it'll all arrive before Christmas, but hopefully it will. The best is coming. We've got a ton of new content coming out in 2022. I want you to take time to spend time with family and friends. If you seek out those maybe who don't have access to family and friends, bless others with your time, your talent, and your treasure. And I'm going to be thinking about all of you this year. So in closing, I just want to say a happy Christmas to all, whether you're celebrating with a lot of people, with a few people, or just maybe it's a small group this year. It's all good. I send you many, many blessings, and I hope that you have a really wonderful, wonderful year and a blessed Christmas. As always, we always try to talk about where you can connect with us, but last but not least, wherever you may be, and I know there are people listening to this presentation from really all over the world, North and South America, Europe and Asia. We wish you peace. Have a blessed Christmas, everyone. I will see you once more, I think, before New Year, but it's always a pleasure to be with all of you. And I just want to make sure that you know how much I think about you and I care for you, and that how much I value the time that you spend with me here every Monday. And I'm so happy that we get to be together. Have a wonderful week. So we're going to be talking now about yes, we're going to be saying a fond farewell. Let's actually stop the share. Yes, we stopped the share. And we're going to actually say a fond farewell to everybody who's on YouTube. Thank you so much for having been here. Have a joyous holiday season. We'll see you back here very soon, I think right before the new year. And we'll be continuing the celebrations and all the wonderful things that are going on. Have a wonderful week. And for those of you who are on live, please stay on because we're going to pick those lucky winners.